So if there's one thing that's really clear to me, it's that AI is going to transform just about every job in the world. There are reports estimating as much as 60% of all jobs are going to either be replaced or significantly impacted by AI, and that's every company. And I mean, I've seen it in my own business, marketing, content creation, YouTube, podcasting. It's all changed. You start scrolling down social media now, it's all AI generated content. And it's really gotten me thinking. And so about I think a really important concept, which is the surf or swim concept. And I'll give a shout out to my boy, Jonathan Chaney. I was going through his build your own business with AI workshop, learned a lot. It was really good. Some of which I knew, some of which I didn't. AI is changing very rapidly, but it's just so amazing what's possible now. And this surf or swim concept has just got my brain really firing, and I would encourage you to consider this as well. So surf or swim, what does that mean? Well, if you're swimming in the ocean, you're going to be burning, say 15 minutes in the ocean, you're going to burn maybe 100 calories, right? But if there's a tidal wave, if there's a tsunami, how many calories is that? It's about 1 billion times more calories. It's about 1 billion times more energy in that tidal wave. But what's interesting is you're not going to swim against a tsunami. It's going to sweep you up. You're dead. You're going to drown. Okay? You cannot swim against a tsunami. AI is a tsunami. It is happening. However, something weird happens. Something interesting happens when a tsunami is hitting. And that is that surfers start to congregate and go towards the tsunami, because tsunamis create awesome waves. And that's where the surfers want to be. So the question that you should be asking yourself, the question that I'm asking myself is, am I swimming in the ocean while this tsunami comes, or am I surfing? And John gave examples of some different AI businesses that are happening. And, this is a little bit different of a type of video than I typically do. I'm typically doing demos, and I'll be definitely doing some demos, because what is possible now is unbelievable. And I'll give you just one thing that really blew my mind was the capability of coding and writing code and developing web applications without any experience. I don't code. My parents tried to enroll me in coding years ago. It wasn't for me. I love to create. I don't like to code. It was too tedious. And what ended up, what's possible now, and while I'm walking my dog here, and while I'm talking to you, I'm building a website. I have a website literally building right now. I started it yesterday. It's functional. It can take payments. I'm cleaning it up. I'm working on it. This business will be ready to go within the next couple days. And taking payments through Stripe, implementing ChatGPT chatbot option specifically designed for the topic that it's covering. All connected with APIs. Again, this sounds complicated. It's not that complicated. If you're a millennial, if you're Gen Xer, if you have no coding experience, you can actually do this. The key here is finding the right ideas. The key is making sure that you're not trying to swim against the current. You're actually surfing the current, and you're finding the opportunities in the market. And this idea, it really struck me because it's just so amazing what's possible. And again, with this Replit program, you can build your own business. You can develop your own website in a matter of minutes. In basically a weekend, you can have your own running business. You just need a good idea, and then you execute it. So you've got this idea. You're trying to think, how do I execute on it? Well, there's multiple steps there. But let me give you an example of a couple different businesses that are possible that maybe weren't possible before, or maybe there are some processes in your business that need to be transformed because you're either personally doing it manually or you're hiring VAs to do it. VAs are in huge trouble, by the way, huge trouble. I've worked with a lot of VAs. I have some great VAs. I've worked with some great VAs, but VAs can be very unpredictable. And with AI, it's going to be much more. It's just much more consistent, and it's much faster, and you can have more leverage over how they act and interact. So anyway, here's an example business that John shared during this workshop. Is solving the problem of the elderly having dementia and losing their brain functionality, and this apparently is expedited because they just don't have people to talk to. They're lonely, they don't have people to talk to. So what he did was he created an app using 11 Labs. And what 11 Labs does is it creates voices, and they sound amazing. They sound just like me talking to you right now. So through 11 Labs, he was able to create this app that calls these people, these elderly people, and has conversations with them. And now they have like their little AI buddy. And you might think, oh, that's not real. This guy's clearing like $100,000 a month in revenue. In profit. In profit, I think he was about 85 grand a month in profit off this program. And it's a win-win-win because, you know, it's good for the people. The senior living centers are incentivized to share it because they get a cut. He has salespeople, they get a cut. So it's just an unbelievable business model that just wasn't possible or scalable even a year previously. I mean, the 11 Labs software is really compelling because because it has an API and it can connect into basically any software that you're already running, you can implement this audio voice technology into just about anything. If you're in sales, you don't need appointment setters anymore. You don't need to be paying appointment setters around the clock. You just have your AI connected to your phone dialer, and as soon as someone fills out your Meta ad or your Google ad, whatever ad, your 11 Labs appointment setter, your AI agent, calls them immediately and just takes care of it. They book the appointment or maybe even close the sale if it's easy enough, although I think at this point it's probably going to be better for appointment setting. However, again, you know, salespeople are very expensive. They're probably one of the more expensive pieces of your organization as far as employees go. So anyway, regardless, this technology is here, it's real, it can do a lot of really cool things, and it's pennies on the dollar. And I think that's maybe what people don't fully understand is how inexpensive it is and how scalable it is. And this is where you start to think about surfing. You know, the other thing that I think a lot of business owners don't fully understand, a lot of coaches and consultants don't understand, is that if someone has even a mediocre understanding of how to use these tools, they're going to be able to get whatever they want. So, I mean, here's an example. You can use ChatGPT to come up with a business idea and vet it. Here's a quick prompt for you. If you want more prompts, go to aiupdate.ai. I've got a bunch of prompts over there for you. Totally free, aiupdate.ai. But what you can do is you can just tell ChatGPT, hey, I want you to act as Steve Jobs. I want you to rip apart all my ideas. I want you to challenge my ideas. And I don't want you to be just a yes man and agree with me. I want you to really challenge and help me work through my ideas. And it'll do a much better job. And you say, I want you to interview me on this idea. This is my idea. I want you to interview me, ask me questions, challenge my ideas. Let's get down and dirty. You spend a half hour doing that. You can really work through an idea that you can have. You can find opportunities and threats, weaknesses, strengths within the idea. You can refine it. You can maybe come up with a minimum viable product. You can just really plan ahead. And once you've done that, once you've kind of gotten an idea, you're going to send this over to Grok, and you're going to say, hey, this is the business idea that I have. I want you to do market research. And Grok will go through all of X and go through the internet, and you're going to use the deep research functionality. It's going to research this idea in depth. Once you got that idea, you go back to ChatGPT and you said, here's the idea. Let's refine the business plan based on this market research. By the way, a month ago, I hired someone to do market research for me. They didn't charge me a lot, charged me a few $100, but it was not great. It was fine. It was formatted pretty well, but I don't need to do that. Why would I pay $500 to get market research done? I mean, $500, you could be paying hundreds of thousands for market research, but pay $500 for some market research when I can just go to Grok, tell it what I want, do use its deep research tool, and within 5 to 10 minutes, it's done, I mean, some ridiculous research. And by the way, I'm going to be definitely leveraging that in future videos that I record, because I'm actually really enjoying walking my dog and speaking here. To actually give you some firm numbers and go through more data and statistics, I think that'll be helpful. Regardless, once you've got that data, then you can go back to ChatGPT and say, refine my idea. Once you refine the idea, what do? You go over to Replit and you say, Replit, here's my idea. I want you to build out an entire website. And it's shocking what is possible, because it will build out the entire website. And again, I built this out within about 24 hours. I have a website that's semi-functional. It's a little bit complicated based on some of the features that are required in this business that I'm building, this program I'm building. But it's really remarkable what's possible. And what I would encourage everyone to consider, and what I'm considering, is how is my role changed by this software? And if you haven't really fully experienced or seen this yet, you need to post in the comments below or reach out to me. I'd be happy to kind of show you some more ways that AI is changing things. But once you've experienced this simple process that I've explained, I'm not talking about just going to ChatGPT and asking it a question, getting a response back. There's a lot of cutesy, fun things you can do, generate images, and there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with AI. But once you've experienced the automation and an agent actually working for you, like the amount of web development I've done in the past day probably would have cost me $25,000 a year ago. And now it's done for 25 bucks. It's like an order of magnitude of efficiency faster. I have more control. It's pretty shocking. So I wanted to share this, hop on. It's a little bit different. What do you think about this format? Type in the comments below. And if you want more AI related content while I walk, I'd be happy to bring it to you, because this is fun, this is healthy, and I've just been basically working for the past 6 hours in front of the computer. I needed a little bit of a break. But this is what I encourage you to do. Think about, are you surfing or are you swimming? How are you leveraging AI to get way more done than you could have before? Where are the new gaps in the market? Because while I think there's a lot of fear, there's going to be a lot of opportunity. And that's what we're here for. We're here to find the opportunity, to find those new openings in the marketplace where we can take advantage and become insanely productive and wealthy. All right, that's the deal. I'll see you soon. Bye.